Hello, everybody. So this was my first trip to South Africa, and it was a real blessing to me. Kirk has asked me a number of times over the years, Scott, you need to go. And I always had an excuse for not going or just didn't ever go. And I've got advice for you. If you get a chance to go, don't put it off. Just go, just do it. This is a very worthwhile trip and was eye-opening in many ways. I want to thank the elders for supporting this. This was an overwhelmingly positive experience for us, and I think all the people that we came in contact with. I want to thank Kirk and Christy and Mike, all the people that were involved in the planning. This couldn't have gone any better. You've got 41 people going to a different continent, different weather, everything. And it all went very well, so thank you for all of that. In the few minutes I have to share with you, I want to talk to you about some of the positives that I took from this trip. And I think first was really just an eye-opening to me as to what this was really all about. If you just look in the bulletin and you see a ministry that we're involved with, and you don't give it a whole lot of thought, you don't really realize what's going on and what we're doing here. And we had the chance to go to this country to see it, to see the people and the kids, and to see the obstacles and problems that they're dealing with. And we got to witness SABS, which is part of the solution. And we lived there in the dorms and with the students. We shared our meals with them. We shared chores. We went to classes. We listened to the lectures. We listened to their discussions, which were very deep. We talked about this in our small groups. It made me almost, it just really touched me that they were so deep and so committed. But we got to see that, and I will tell you that the students there are very special. They are bright men and women, mostly young. They're determined, they're committed, and they're on fire for Jesus. And we got to see that in the classes and in the way they were living and the way they were treating each other and treating us. And we got to see them put their faith into practice by going out into the community, and not only them, but the graduates of the school. And we got to see them, teach and preach and care for the old and care for the young and feed the children and lead their congregations and their communities. One of the services I went to was at the Church of Christ there at one of the squatters' camps. It was about as wide as a mobile home. It had 3 walls and a ceiling. It wasn't as big as a mobile home. Maybe half that big, and it was just packed full of men, women, and children that were receptive to hearing God's word. And all of this was being done by SAB students or graduates that were teaching and preaching and carrying on this ministry. It was just an eye-opening thing to see. So the students there are very motivated. They're being well trained, and this is a very good ministry. The VBS was amazing. It was a tremendous success. This is apparently the first one that has been done. Whoever had the idea, it was a great idea. There were, I think, 300 in attendance. Adults, children, teenagers. I think David preached 5 or 6 sermons on Saturday. And I heard one of them. It was good. But Mike and Ray and I, we were teaching a class with 81 of the local teenagers there. They were all crammed into one tiny little room, and everyone was a trooper. It was very uncomfortable in there, but everyone was so polite and participatory and attentive, and they were all very knowledgeable. And it was really refreshing to be in there and to work with them. And of course, all the little kids. There were so many kids, and it was VBS, and it was crazy, and it was awesome. And I call them youth, but the young adults were great. They were really good. So the VBS was awesome. Before the VBS got started in the morning, people were starting to mingle in, and I met a man named Francis, and we talked for a while, and then we went our separate ways. I met him again the next day at the Chowala Church of Christ. I've been practicing that for weeks, and I'm still struggling with it. The Chowala Church of Christ. We attended there, and after the service was over, we were all visiting again. There's a lot of visiting. There's lots of teas, and I think it's a good thing. Maybe we should do it here. But anyway, I turned around at one point, and there was this man standing there with a big smile on his face, and he grabbed my hand and said, "I'm Francis. Do you remember me?" And so we talked some more, and it turns out he was a SABS graduate, and he was an older man, and he had graduated years ago. And he was one of the two elders there at that congregation. And he could not stop talking about the importance of SABS in his life and the life of his family and his community and his congregation and what it had done for him. He was so grateful to this congregation for the support. And he couldn't say enough about the VBS. The only question was when are we doing it again? And they were ready. It was a tremendous success. He was also very appreciative of the fact that we were participating in their services. And Lauren mentioned something about that too. A lot of our men and women were participating in teaching the Bible classes and participating in the worship service. And for example, I'll tell a story on Lauren. She did mention that she taught a class, but she didn't exactly say how that came about. She was informed that she was going to teach that Bible class as it was starting. And as you can tell from hearing her speak tonight, she did a great job. She had something in her heart, and she taught a great lesson. Jeremy Sprott was at the Chowala Church of Christ, where I was as well, and they had expressed an interest in having a lesson on Christian dating and marriage, and so he delivered, and it was very well done, and they received it very well. So I think all of them really appreciated what we were doing there, and I think this was an amazing trip where they received something from us, but I think we got more back than we delivered. Another one of the blessings that I feel like I had as a result of this trip was the fellowship. And obviously the fellowship that we had with the South Africans was amazing. You know, we met all of these young people that are so on fire for Christ, and all of these people in all these communities. And it's crazy to think that I can be here in Houston and I can say that I have friends in South Africa. But it wasn't so much just that, it was the fellowship that we had with the group that left here. Because I will admit that most of the people in this group I did not know very well before we left. Some of the people I met in our planning sessions for the very first time. I didn't know the youth or the young adults that were going on this trip very well because my kids have grown up. And I will tell you that this youth group, these young adults were amazing. I didn't hear any grumbling at all. I saw a lot of smiles, a lot of enthusiasm, and a lot of hard work. And honestly, I don't know how this could have been done without the youth of this congregation, because they did so much work during the VBS and so much good work at the squatters camp, working with the kids. They loved it. The kids at the squatter camp loved them, and they loved the kids back. It was amazing. But I think all of us that went on this trip now share this unique experience. And we now have new friends right here in this congregation, and a deeper appreciation for one another. Have one other thing to say. I don't know anything about the finances, about SABS. Kirk knows all about those kinds of things. But you don't have to be an accountant to know that there's a need there, and it's going to be ongoing. And I just wanted to thank this church and for the support that they give to SABS, and to thank the elders for making this a priority.